All right, thanks for bearing with us. This is our first live video. It's my first time doing Facebook Live ever. I'm Andy. Thanks for joining us. We're going to be doing Thursday night live quarantine yoga while we're all indoors, hopefully indoors, staying at home. Thursday nights, 6 p.m. Central Time. Yeah. That's all I need to say about us, right?
Yeah.
Yoga with Andy Thursday nights while we're at home. Hoping to bring some yoga to you all, staying active, staying healthy. We can't be in our studios or our gyms, and it can be very boring if we're all cooped up at home. I know here in Wisconsin it's not exactly warm yet, so there's not all the days are good for outside activities. So we're kind of cooped up at home, and keeping things active really can help kind of beat that boredom, that stress, and lift our spirits. So we're going to be doing an all levels class. It's not super basic, but it's not super advanced. Obviously modify for your own practice, what your body needs. If you are brand new to yoga or you have minimal experience, real quick, your mat should not be facing this way. You want to take your mat and face the screen. So when you stand at the top of your mat, you're looking at the screen. Otherwise, you're going to be turning over your shoulder, and that's going to get weird after a while. So mats are facing me. Props, you don't really need props. If you have props that you like to use, blocks are a really nice prop. They're not necessary. You can do a class without props. They do offer some height though. So if you have them and you like to use them, grab them. You could use like soup cans, two things that are kind of sturdy and even if you really want that. And then other than that, maybe a blanket. It doesn't have to be a yoga blanket, a towel, a throw blanket that you can fold. And that would be more if you have kind of knee issues, being on your knees bothers you, or certain seated positions. So, if you have any kind of knee issue going on, maybe a folded towel will be nice for you. Other than that, modify where you need to. Always listen to your body, and it's not about going into the point of pain. We're not stretching into pain. We're stretching, maybe a little discomfort or a little, just to the edge. But if you're feeling pain, back out of it. You do not have to impress anybody. And then just keep in mind, yoga's for everybody. So it's not about looking fit or looking like a yogi. It's about doing a practice that works for your body as you are right now. So making modifications where you need to. If you need to stop and take a break, you can. There's no problems with making adjustments for yourself. With that being said, we're gonna get started on our backs. Oh, I always have music in my class, but for copyright reasons and such, I'm not gonna have music playing. So you are welcome to have your own music going. I do have playlists. If you go to, is there a link here?
The link is on our event page and on the our Facebook page.
Well, if you go to our Facebook page or our event page, there's a link to my Spotify account. It's Andrea Carroll, Carroll. I have public playlists. So if you want to find a, don't do yoga 30, those are 30-minute playlists, but yoga anything. I like yoga chill for this one, but you can do whatever you want, or you can jam your own music. Does not matter. We are going to start in silence, so I'll tell you when to start the music. So go ahead, lay down, get comfortable. We're going to have knees bent. And we're going to settle in on the floor, settle in on the mat. You can close your eyes or soften your gaze. And just begin to tune in with your breath. Just observing, noticing its natural rhythms. As we settle into the mat, reminding ourselves to be present. We're not worried about what was going on earlier, what we have to do next. Those thoughts can come in. You can acknowledge them, but push them aside. Just observe your breath. As you inhale, fill your belly as if it were a balloon. As you exhale, let the balloon deflate. If it helps to put your hand on your belly, you can. Inhale, fill your belly, ribs expand. Exhale, soften your ribs, soften your belly. Inhale, fill belly, ribs expand, collarbone broadens. Exhale, soften collarbone, ribs, belly. Inhale, belly, ribs expand, collarbone broadens, top of the breath. Exhale, soften collarbone, ribs, belly. Continue with your own timing. Filling your torso with breath and emptying completely. Try to even out the inhale and the exhale. Breath is very important in yoga and any practice. So we're going to connect our movement now with our breath. On your next inhale, sweep the arms up, reaching overhead, maybe touching the floor behind you, above you. And as you exhale, let the arms just float back down to your side. Inhale, arms sweep up. And exhale, floating down. So still be on your own breath. Inhale, belly, ribs, collarbone. Exhale, collarbone, ribs, belly. One more round. And as you exhale, eyes can open. I'm going to grab our right knee and bring it to our chest. If you want to start music now, you could press play now. I'm going to hug our knee into our chest, straightening out the left leg. Take an inhale here. Exhale, lift your head and shoulders, chin tucks. Lift your foot about a foot or so off the floor. Arms reach out. We're going to hold, half hollow hold. Breathing, don't hold your breath, pulling navel to spine. 3, 2, and rest. Hug the knee back into your chest. If this is too intense of a stretch, you can bend the knee gently. Otherwise, left leg is straight and active. Left hand can be on your hip or the floor. Right hand is on your knee. And we're going to stir our leg, our femur, very slowly. Take your time. As if we're stirring a big pot of soup. Some mobility in the hip here. When you're ready, take that to the other side. Opposite direction. And then hugging the knee into the chest. You're going to bend your left knee, placing the right ankle so that you're crossing, creating like a figure 4 here. Right hand is going to press on the middle of your thigh. Careful to avoid your knee joint pressing, just opening up that right hip. If you want a little more stretch than this, if this is not enough for you, you can lift the left foot off the floor. If you want even more, thread the needle and grab the back of your left hamstring, pulling that in. We have dogs in the room, so if you're hearing some breathing and some heavy sighs, that's Chloe. She's watching us. Good. Release. And then we're going to take our left knee into our chest, squeezing tight. Left leg straightens out long. Inhale here. Exhale, lift your head and shoulders, tucking the chin. Right foot off the floor, about a foot or so. Reaching the arms, navel to spine, half hollow hold. Breathing. 3, 2, and release. Hugging the knee. Again, too intense of a stretch, bend the knee gently. Right hand on the floor or holding your right hip down, left hand on the knee, taking circles just within your own range of motion, like you're stirring a pot of soup. This is Wesley, the cat, hanging out here. He's got his little lion cut and reverse. And after the circles, hug the knee back into the chest. Bend your right knee, foot on the floor, crossing left ankle onto the right knee. Left hand presses mid-thigh, pushing the hip open. If you want or need a little more, right foot off the floor. A little more, thread the needle, grabbing the back of your right hamstring, pulling in towards the chest. Good, and release. Hugging both knees into the chest now, stretching out the low back. If you want to take a little rock here, you can. And then we're going to either rock to one side and push ourselves up, or rock to sit up, and we're going to join meet in table here. Fingers are spread, shoulders are directly over the wrists, hips are directly over the knees. We're going to do a little bit of cat-cow here. Inhale, lift your head, tailbone points upwards. Exhale, push into your hands, rounding up. Inhale, cow spine, collarbone broadens forward. Exhale, push into the earth, separating the shoulder blades. Inhale, lift. And exhale, push, cat back, shoulders separate. One more, inhale, lift. And exhale, push. What are you doing over there, huh? What are you doing? From here, neutral table, walk your hands off the left side of the mat, up on your fingertips. We're not going to sit back as much as we're going to drag our hips to the right. Inhale, exhale, drag the hips to the right, releasing your head and neck down. This is side puppy. Breathe into your right side, right ribs there. Inhale, coming up, walking to the right side of the mat, up on the fingertips. Inhale here. Exhale, drag your hips to the left, softening neck and head towards the earth. Inhale, coming up. From neutral table, take your knees wider than your hips, toes touching. Inhale, tuck the tailbone. Exhale, push back to sit on your heels, hands forward for child's pose. Now, if this is too intense, if this is hard on the knees, you can take a folded up blanket or towel, place that under the knees, under where you're sitting for a little, or lift the hips a little bit if you need a little modification. At any time in your practice, in any yoga practice, you can come and rest here in child's pose. This is a resting position, so if you need to take a break, totally fine. Come to child's pose, take a seat, take a break. We're gonna do a little flow here. Inhale, lift, coming up, putting some weight in your hands. Exhale, push back, dynamic child's pose. Inhale, coming up, weight into the hands. Exhale, push hips back. Inhale, coming up. Last one, exhale, reaching the arms forward. Inhale, returning to table, knees back underneath the hips, hands underneath your shoulders. Make sure your fingers stay wide, and then make sure your hands are, peace fingers are pointing forward. There's some tendency to roll inwards or really splay outward. We want to avoid that position. So peace fingers to the top, fingers spread. Take the hands one hand length forward, curl the toes underneath you. Inhale, lift your knees off the floor. Exhale, push into the earth, sending your sit bones up and back towards where the ceiling and wall meet for downward facing dog. If you like to take a little movement here, you can shift side to side, pedaling through the feet, opening up the back of the legs. Good, then reaching both heels towards the earth. This is our first down dog, so you can have a little bend in the knee, be generous here. You don't have to go for straight legs right away. And don't worry about your heels, as long as they're reaching towards the earth. Inhale, rise to toes. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Inhale, tiptoe to the top of the mat, halfway lift. Little bend in the knee here for a halfway lift. Make sure you are in a flat spine. Really common to round here. So crown of the head, reaching forward. Tail feathers, if you had them, would be pointing straight back. Inhale here, take this length. Exhale, forward fold. If you can't touch the floor, bend your knees till you can touch the floor, or place hands on blocks. Really release your head and neck here in forward fold. When you're ready, gently bend the knees. Inhale, crown of the head reaches, sweeping arms up, standing nice and tall, hands touch at the top. Exhale, hands to heart. So we're at the top of our mat. We are in Tadasana or mountain pose. Just check in real quick. Make sure we're not standing with like splayed out ribs. There's some tendency to have like a sway back or tilted pelvis. This is going to become a problem in other poses, especially today. So just kind of make sure you're zipped up, knitting the ribs together. Your pelvis is neutral, ears, shoulders, ribs, hips, standing tall. Tadasana. Inhale, arms reach up, touching at the top, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Release the head and neck. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands on shins, little bend in the knee, long spine. Inhale. Exhale, feet back into plank. In plank, make sure you're lifted and pushing out of your shoulders and you're not hanging out here. First time through today, everyone drop to knees. You are welcome to drop your knees at any point to modify a plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, control lower to belly. Elbows hugging the ribs. On the tops of your feet. Roll your shoulders away from your ears. Inhale, baby cobra. This is a modification for upward facing dog, so you're welcome to take this at any time as well. From here, inhale. Exhale, soften down, curling the toes, push into the hands, send the hips up and back down, dog. Couple breaths here. Shake your head, yes and no. Shoulders are broad. Inhale, rise to toes. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Inhale, tiptoe to the top of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, bending knees or hands on blocks. Inhale all the way up, coming up through a swan dive, through a reverse swan dive, hands touch at the top. Exhale, hands to heart center. Surya Namaskar A, sun salutation A. Let's do that again. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, plant your hands on the earth, shoulders over the wrist, step back into plank. You're welcome to stay on your toes or drop to your knees. Either one is fine. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, control it down to belly, elbows in tight. On the tops of your feet. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, cobra. It's fine to stay in cobra. Or if it's in your practice, pressing to stand on your hands, upward facing dog. As you exhale, lift the hips, flip the feet, down dog. Inhale to find some length here. Exhale to find depth. Inhale, rise to toes. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Inhale, tiptoe to the top of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, all the way up. Rising through the crown of the head, hands touch at the top. Exhale, hands to heart. One more round. Inhale, up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthening through spine. Exhale, plant hand, step back to plank. Drop to knees if you prefer, or stay on your toes. Inhale, forward. Exhale, lower to belly. You can catch chaturanga as well if that's in your practice. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, lift the hips, flip the feet, down dog. Inhale, rise to toes. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Inhale, tiptoe to the top of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, all the way up. Rising, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to heart. Great, all right, we're building the fire, we're warming it up. If you know you like blocks and you want to use them, you can take them onto your mat about shoulder width. If you don't have them, you don't want to use them, don't worry about it. So, we're back here at the top of the mat. Feet are parallel and hip width, standing tall in Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant hands on blocks or earth. Big step back with the left foot into lunge. Check it out real quick. Make sure your right knee is directly over your ankle and you're not jutting that knee out. Perpendicular right down to the floor. Take that left heel, spin it down towards the back corner of the mat. It's pointing towards that back corner. Check it, your alignment, heel to arch alignment right here. Bear down into all four corners of your feet. Windmill up, warrior two. Check out the right knee real quick. Make sure it is pointing to middle or pinky side of your foot and that we're not collapsing in. And we're standing up nice and tall. Arms are broad. Gaze is over the right hand. Little flow here. Straighten the arms. Inhale, arms up, lengthening. Exhale, bending right knee. Warrior two. Inhale, up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, up. And exhale, warrior two. Solid base here. We're going to stay here with our legs, right palm up. Inhale, reverse warrior, lengthening through right side body. Exhale, reach out as far as you can. Elbow to mid thigh, sweeping the arm, side angle. Flowing this, inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, reach it out, side angle. Inhale, reverse. And exhale. Couple breaths here in side angle. Gaze to your palm or the ceiling sky here. Lengthening from fingertips to heel. Inhale, warrior two. Straightening both legs, hands to hips. We're going for triangle. If you like a little shorter stance, it can be a little, a good modification. Taking the left foot in, we still have heel to arch alignment here, and our left toes are still pointed in. We want to make sure we're not going into some turnout here with both legs. So, sorry. Left toes pointed in, right toes, losing my balance. Right toes, right knee is still pointing straight forward. Hand on hip, right arm out. Inhale, lengthen as far as you can. Exhale to triangle. Hand can come on your block, or this is not a block, this is your shin. Your shin, or a block on the pinky side of your foot. You can change that height as well. Or if you can touch the earth, that's great. Roll your left shoulder so it stacks on top of the right. If your neck is feeling healthy, gaze and arm to the ceiling. See if you can line up your nose with your thumb. Utthita Trikonasana, triangle. Hand to hip, bend your right knee. Looking down, inhale, warrior two. Exhale, cartwheel the hands back down to frame the foot, re-stepping the left foot into lunge. Dropping the left knee, untuck the toes. Take your right hand to the inside of your right foot, and we are going to walk your right foot to the edge of the mat. We're getting ready for lizard. So make sure the knee is still right over the ankle and it hasn't gotten really weird and in here. Heel and, sorry, that's not your heel, knee and foot pointing in the same direction. And then if you have the mobility, working into your forearms. If not, you can take a pillow or blankets or your blocks and have some support here. If you want strength, a little strength element, you can lift the back knee. Dropping the back knee, returning to your hands, and then walk that right foot back into about the middle of the mat. Hands are framing the foot. Lift the back knee into lunge. Step forward, inhale, halfway lift, lengthening. Exhale, forward fold, release your head and neck. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands on the earth or blocks. Step your right foot back. Nice big step into lunge. Stay here. I'm going to move so that you can see me properly. So you're still facing the front. We're here in lunge. Right heel rolls down towards that back corner of the mat. Heel to arch alignment here. All four corners of the feet are pressing into the earth. Right arm windmills up. Warrior two. Quick peek. Knee is in line with middle or pinky side of the foot. We're not collapsing. Heel is pressing back, all four corners bearing down. Straighten the legs, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale. And exhale. Holding warrior two here. Left palm up. Sweeping it towards the ceiling. No weight on that back leg, just sliding down. Reverse warrior. Exhale, reach out. Supported side angle. Inhale, warrior. Reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, reverse. And exhale, side angle. Couple breaths here. Stacking right shoulder, so you're spinning your heart towards the ceiling, towards the sky. Gaze can be at the ceiling or towards your palm. Inhale, warrior two. Straighten the legs, hands to hips. If you like, shorten your stance a little bit. Again, right toe still pointed in, heel to arch, alignment still happening. Your shoulders should be facing the right side of the room now. Left arm to the front of the mat towards the screen. Inhale, lengthen as far as you can. Exhale, hands to shin or a block on the pinky side of your foot or the earth. Roll the right shoulder so it stacks on top of the left. Gaze and arm to the ceiling if your neck feels healthy. If this is too intense, you can always look at the floor. That's a little more grounding. Hand to hip, look down at your left foot. Bend the left knee. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, cartwheel back to a lunge. Hands framing the foot. We're going to re-step that right foot so the heel is up. Drop the knee, untuck the toes. Left hand to the inside of your left foot. Walk the foot to about the edge of the mat or so. Knee and toes pointed in the same direction. And if this is a good stretch for you, you can stay on your hands. You don't have to get down onto your forearms at all. Otherwise, working onto blocks, blanket or pillow, or straight down to the earth. Optional, does not have to happen. Little strength element to lift the knee. Lizard. Drop the knee. Return to your hands. Now, if you have pillows or a blanket or blocks here, get them off the mat. Move them out of your way. You're going to plant your hands straight down from your shoulders. This left foot is going to swing back into plank. Now, if this is kind of getting intense, this is too much, you can just kind of skip this, meet us in down dog or in child's pose. If it's in your practice, though, we're going to take a connecting vinyasa here. Inhale forward. Exhale to belly or catch chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Lift the hips. Flip the feet. Couple breaths. Inhale, rise to toes. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Inhale, tiptoe to the top of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, head and neck release. Inhale all the way up, coming up through flat back, arms sweep out and up. Exhale, hands to heart. Great, okay. You're gonna step your feet about the width of the mat or so, toes turned out. I'm gonna turn and face you so that you can see me, but you're gonna stay here at the top of your mat. When I face you, I'm gonna mirror you as well, just FYI. So you can adjust the feet as you need to, but we're kind of shoulder-ish or so width of the mat, toes turned out, arms reaching up. Inhale. Exhale, bend the knees, sink the hips straight down, knees opening. Going into Malasana or Yogic Squat. Hands come to prayer, and then if you need to adjust, you can. Their elbows are on the insides of the knees. If this is too intense, you can come up. You can take blocks or a pillow or blankets and kind of sit the sit bones right there for a little added support. But we are pressing into the palms. Heart is lifted, long spine. It's a great hip opener. Inhale. Exhale, plant your hands, straighten the legs, just a little bit of a wide leg forward fold. And release here. If you want to sway, you can. And then you're going to walk your feet back underneath you about hip width. Good. Inhale, rising up through flat back. Hands touch at the top. Exhale, hands to heart. You're going to stay at the top of the mat where you are. We're going to stand in Tadasana, feet hip width and feet are parallel. Really check that out. Make sure you're not there's some tendency to kind of stand turned out. So make sure the feet are parallel. Neutral pelvis as well. Make sure you're not tipping or tucking. We're going for tree. You're going to shift onto your left foot. You're going to pick up the right heel and then turn the knee and hip open and come to a kickstand. So your right heel is resting here on your standing leg. Now in any standing position, you can bend that knee gently. You never want to lock into the knee. So we're a little bit bent on that straight leg. If this is a good challenge for you, this is a good balance, stay here. This is totally fine. Stage one would be a little lift onto the calf, not on your knee. Do not put any weight on your knee joint ever. So below or above the calf. Finding your focal point, dristi. If this is feeling good, balance is feeling pretty good, you're gonna reach down, grab the ankle, pulling the heel up as high as you can into the groin. This is really creating some pressure. Inner thigh and bottom of the foot are really pressed together, hands to heart. And then if you'd like, you can grow your branches up. This is Vrikshasana, tree. Inhale. And exhale, hands to heart, slowly coming out of that. Now, if balance is feeling a little wonky, you are not glued to your mat. You can get off the mat and use a wall, back of a chair or a couch. At any point you're not stuck there. So you can use what you need around you to aid with any balancing. All right, back to Tadasana, feet are hip width. Neutral pelvis, shifting onto your right foot. Left heel picks up off the floor, kickstand to the ankle. Finding your focal point, your dristi, something solid to look at. When you're ready, maybe trying lifting below the knee on the calf. This might be where we go today. This might be it. Otherwise, if balance is feeling pretty good, reaching for the ankle, pulling the heel up as high as we can. Thigh and heel pressing into one another. One side might feel better than the other. That's okay. And maybe growing branches. Inhale and exhale, hands center and coming down. Good, give that a shake. We're back, you're at the top of the mat, I'm not, so I'm coming back to the top of the mat. Standing in Tadasana. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Let that release a little bit. Bend the knees a little. Shake your head yes and no. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant hands to earth or blocks. Left foot, big step back into lunge. If you are using blocks, they are right here underneath the shoulders. Roll the left heel down towards the back corner of the mat. Again, heel to arch alignment, setting up for warrior two. Left arm windmills up, warrior two. Right palm to the ceiling. Inhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, and then exhale, reaching out, coming to supported side angle. If it's in your practice though, you can reach that hand down towards the inner arch of the foot or onto a block. Using that as some leverage, twisting the heart towards the ceiling, lengthening from fingertips to heel, side angle. Inhale, warrior two, hands to hips, straighten the legs. Left foot coming in a little bit, shortening 2 or 3 inches or so. Heel to arch alignment is maintained. We're going again into triangle. Right arm out. Inhale, reach as far as you can. Exhale to shin or earth. If you do have blocks, I would recommend a block right now. If you have a block, it's going to be on the pinky side of your foot. Left arm up, triangle. Left shoulder is stacked on top of the right. Take note of how this posture feels. So I'm going to build upon this. So take your left hand down to your hip and take your gaze down to your right foot and hand. Now, pause real quick. If you don't have a block, that's okay. You can bend the knee and get your hand onto the fingertips on the earth. One more thing. We're going to go into a balance. If that is not feeling it, if you're not feeling it, you don't have to do the balance, or you can use a wall. You can come up to a wall. Let's pretend the wall's there. And you can take, with your back against the wall, this posture with having some support behind you. So if you need to adjust here, you can. So we're in triangle. Right hand is on block or earth, bending the right knee. Take your right hand or block about a foot in front of you, straight forward from that pinky side. Inhale, press down into your left foot, that's your right foot, sending your left foot towards an imaginary wall. So you don't want this leg hanging. You want it active, pressing into an imaginary wall. Gaze to the floor is your best bet. If your balance is feeling pretty solid, maybe turning to the side of the room, maybe gaze and arm to the ceiling. This is half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Whee! When you're ready, bend the knee. Inhale, coming up to warrior two. Take your time there. Good, straighten the legs. Nice work, guys. Turning both toes in a little bit. You might like a wider stance here. You can adjust as you need to. Inhale, lift your heart. And exhale, hinge at the hips, wide leg forward fold. If you can't touch the earth, you can take blocks or pillows, blankets, place them on the earth, place your hands here. If you do have the mobility, releasing down, fingertips in line with the tips of the toes, maybe releasing your head a little more, taking some weight into your toes. Inhale, think halfway lift, up on the fingertips. Exhale, start to walk your hands, bending the right knee and framing the foot, stepping that left foot back. We've returned to our lunge. Step forward, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Really let your head and neck release and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat spine. Exhale, plant hands on blocks or earth. Right foot, big step back into lunge. Stay here, I'm moving. All right. Right heel spins down towards the back corner of the mat. Heel to arch alignment, bearing into both feet. Warrior two. Left palm up. Inhale, reverse warrior, lengthening through your side body. Exhale, reach out as far as you can. Supported side angle. Or if it's in your practice, down to the instep or to a block. Using that as leverage, spinning the heart open. Side angle. Inhale, warrior two. Straighten the legs, hands to hips. Right foot comes in 2 or 3 inches or so. Heel to arch alignment, maintain. Right toes still pointed in a little bit. Left arm out. Inhale, lengthen as far as you can. Exhale, hands to shin, to a block on the pinky side of your foot or to the earth. Roll the right shoulder so it stacks on top of the left. Gaze and arm to the ceiling. Triangle. Take note of how this position feels in your body. This position, triangle, is directly related to half moon, where we're going. Right hand to your hip. Gaze down at your left foot and hand. Bend your left knee. If you want to go to a wall here, you can. If you have a block, keep it in your hand. If not, bend the knee. Taking the left hand or block forward about a foot or so. On your next inhale, push down into your left foot, some weight into your left hand. Right foot lifts and presses into an imaginary wall. Imagine you're pressing your foot into something. Left knee can be bent, gaze down, but if your balance is feeling okay, start to stack right shoulder on top of left. Whee! say I am not very well balanced today. That's okay. Maybe gaze to the ceiling. And bend the left knee. Stepping the right foot back into warrior two. Maybe a little more graceful or not, that's okay. Straighten both legs, hands to hips. Turning both toes inward, a little bit of a pigeon here. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, hinge at the hips, pouring the pelvis out. Wide leg forward fold. Now, if it's in your practice to do any other variation, grabbing ankles, grabbing big toes, if you want to go for a shoulder stretch, all these are options. You don't have to do any of them. Good, or just hands to earth. Shake your head, yes and no. Inhale, halfway lift on the fingertips. Exhale, walk your hands to the front of the mat, returning to a lunge. So hands are framing the foot, right leg is back, heel is lifted. If you're on blocks, get rid of them. Plant your hands, step straight down, step back into a plank. Again, you can skip this part and meet us in down dog, or if you want to take a child's pose here, you can. Drop to your knees if you like that modification. Otherwise, we're on our toes. Vinyasa, inhale forward. Exhale to belly or chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, lift the hips, flip the feet, down dog. Take a few breaths here. Shake your head, yes and no. Collarbone is broad. As you inhale, find length. As you exhale, find some depth. When you're ready, knees down, meeting in table. So knees coming down. We're gonna make our way into a seated position. Now, again, you are gonna face forward, facing the screen. Sitting in this position, 90 degrees, can be kind of hard on our low back. So you can take a blanket or a towel wrapped up and sit on it, giving yourself a little bit of height. You could also take your mat and roll it up a little bit and sit on it. And that little bit of height is a little more comfortable. Gently bend the knees as well if that is feeling a little better in your body. I'm gonna face you and mirror you. So, moving the flesh out from underneath your sit bone, so you're sitting up nice and tall. Right knee is gonna pull into the chest as tightly as you can, and then you're letting that knee and hip open. It's like a seated tree position. That left leg is still active though, we're not just hanging out. One hand on either side of your left leg. We're gonna forward fold here, but it's not just rounding and going for a stretch. We wanna think just like we do when we're standing forward fold, we're hinging at our hips. So inhale, think lengthening up. Exhale, like you're pouring your pelvis out. Hinge as far as you can. Both hands on your calf or an ankle or a foot, wherever you can reach, or a belt, and hang on to the bottom of the foot. From here, inhale, halfway lift, long spine, take that length. Exhale, bend the elbows wherever you are and pull yourself a little deeper into this forward fold. This is Janu Shirshasana, head to knee. So we're cooling down here, taking some breaths, broadening in our rib cage. If you have a little more mobility and you need a little more for that right hip, you can take your hands, crossing them on the elbow. Release, walking hands up, shaking legs out here. All right, taking that left knee tightly into the chest, letting it open like a seated tree, seated Vrikshasana. Up into the thigh. Right leg is active. One hand on either side, so we're squaring off with that foot. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, hinge at the hips as far as you can. Might not be very far, that's okay. Hinge as much as you can, 2 hands, calf, ankle, or foot. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, bend the elbows, release down, Janu Shirshasana. Again, you could also take a belt or a strap and have that around the foot, and that can aid. And then if you want a little more for that left hip, crossing your grip and releasing. Inhale, walk your hands up, shake out the legs a little bit, and then gently we're gonna make our way back onto our back. So slowly taking your time down, allowing your spine to settle here. We're gonna go into bridge. Now, if you know your back doesn't feel great in bridge, you can take pillows or blankets or a block, and you have the option to slide that under your hips on the widest part, not on your low back, but on your hips, your sacrum. And then this is a nice just supported bridge here. Otherwise, we're going for full bridge, feet forward, kind of getting those heels a little closer to your sit bones. Inhale. Exhale, press your back into the floor, the small of your back. Start to tuck your tailbone, squeezing the glutes, peeling your spine off the floor, up as high as you can. Maybe walking shoulders closer to the heels, broadening in the collarbone, giving some space between chin and chest. Maybe you have mobility to interlace your fingers and work towards straight elbows. Any option is fine. We're just counteracting the forward folding, opening the front body. Release your fingers, inhale. Exhale, slowly lower down, top, middle, bottom of your spine. Stay for a moment, just settle. We are gonna do one more round. When you're ready, inhale, tuck the tailbone, pressing your back into the floor. Peel your spine off the floor. Tailbone is tucking underneath. Shoulders walking underneath, collarbone broad, chin away from the chest. Don't want to tuck the chin. Gaze to the ceiling. Perhaps interlacing fingers, straightening elbows. Hi, Chloe, I hear you. Release your hands. Inhale. Exhale, slowly lower down, one vertebrae at a time. Again, just settling for a moment on the mat. Now, you don't want to pull both knees to your chest at the same time. That can be a little jarring because we just lengthened our hip flexors. You don't want to go so extreme into the opposite. So one at a time, gently pull one and then the other knee into your chest, giving them a squeeze, maybe rocking side to side, stretching your low back. When you're ready, you're going to take your hands out into a T, palms up. Inhale, exhale, both knees fall to the left as far as feels comfortable. Maybe your left hand comes to the top of the right knee. Gaze to the right if your neck feels healthy. Allow the right shoulder to feel heavy and open. Slowly inhale, bringing both knees to the chest. You can give them one more hug. And hands out in a T. Hi, Lucy. Hello. Hands out in a T. You're blocking me, babe. Inhale. Exhale, both knees to the right. Maybe right hand comes to the left knee on top. Gaze to the left if your neck feels healthy. Hi, babe. Left shoulder's heavy, opening in the left side body. Lucy. The sweetest. And inhale, coming back to center, giving the knees one more hug. If there's anything else you need in your body right now, maybe happy baby feels really good. Oh, now Chloe's coming. Hi. Oh, you love it when I'm down here, don't you? Hi. If there's anything else you need to do before we go into Shavasana, you can right now. Otherwise, we're preparing for our final pose, Shavasana, or bless you, or resting pose. She's doing down dog right now. It's hilarious. If you want to put a layer on, if you want to lay like under a blanket, I have a little bit of a tight back, so I like to actually take a blanket or a pillow or even blocks and place them under my knees or under my upper thighs. Gentle bending in the knee kind of lets that low back release. Otherwise, you're just taking up space on the mat. There's no technique. There's no breathing technique. The point is just to relax and allow your body and your nervous system to absorb everything we just did. This is considered the most important part of the practice. So settle in, closing the eyes. Again, just observing the breath. You're not fighting any thoughts. If thoughts enter your mind, that's fine. You can acknowledge them. And then let them go. Release any tension in your forehead. Soften the eye sockets. Release the jaw, creating space between the teeth. Allow the shoulders to be heavy. Take rest. Begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back into the room. Slowly making small movements in the hands and feet. Wiggling fingers and toes. As you deepen your breath, reach the arms up behind you, stretching from hands to feet. Inhale. As you exhale, slowly bring one knee at a time into your chest. Squeezing, stretching through the low back. Maybe rocking side to side. And eventually finding your way to the right side of your body. Head resting on your arm. Staying in moment in the fetal position. When you're ready, pressing your hands into the earth, coming up to a seated position. Eyes can remain closed or soft gaze. Hands coming to heart center. Take note of how you feel. And invite into your heart a sense of gratitude. Being thankful for our breath, for our bodies, being able to practice. Being thankful to those who are out there helping us get through this, working hard, putting themselves and their families at risk. And thanking yourself for giving yourself this time on the mat to practice. I thank you for sharing your practice with me. The light within me honors and recognizes the light within you. Namaste. Thanks, everybody. That's it. The animals were really well behaved right until Shavasana, and then they all came into the picture and wanted to make a little debut, huh?
Every time they see you lay down, they just want to.
Oh, I know. They're like, oh, let's cuddle. Lucy attacked my hair for a while. Little bugger. Thank you, everybody, for joining. We will be here next Thursday, same time, 6 p.m. Central. I think I really like my feet right now. This is Chloe. We are inviting everyone to join us at donveli.com. You can find all our links to our Facebook page and our YouTube channel that we're getting started. So please visit donveli.com.
We can't stream live yet on YouTube because we don't have 1,000 subscribers.
Yes, and so we cannot stream live yet on YouTube. We need 1,000 subscribers to do that. So go to our YouTube channel, subscribe and like, and we'll be putting this video up. Once we have it, we'll upload it to YouTube along with weekly content that we'll be putting up as well.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much, and namaste. Home. Namaste home.
Namaste home.